Okay, welcome back, Cybis students. In this second tutorial, we're going to be looking at how to draw lines. That may seem overly simple and really easy, but lines are one of the two major building blocks that we use to make everything in Illustrator, the other one being fills. And in fact, even this owl that I had in the previous tutorial is made up entirely of lines, effectively. If we click here on View and look at it in Outline View, we see the way that the graphics card and the computer actually see this owl. They don't see the owl, they see all these lines, and they see code that tells it to do specific things with those lines. This also here, looking at outline versus GPU preview, is also often very useful for finding objects if you've misplaced them or if they're missing. But to look at making lines, let's go ahead and create a new document, and in case you have something left over from the previous tutorial, make sure we have one artboard, and let's make sure we're on a letter piece of paper. And click OK. And we're going to be using the line segment tool, which is this tool over here, which looks like a line, interestingly enough. And there are basically two major ways that you can draw a line. The first is just sort of to click and drag, and it will make a line on your screen. Now, depending on your default settings when you opened Illustrator, it's possible you have an invisible line, and that would be here if your line color was set to something other than black, but it should default to black, and you can change those colors if you want. And as they're changed, now when I click a line, I'll get a different color line. You may also notice that now that I'm drawing lines, I'm getting these blue, they're called smart rulers, that give me some information as I'm drawing lines. If I want them to touch the center of another line at the intersection, if I want it to anchor to attach to the other line, if I want them to be straight down or sideways, if I want to close a shape. Also, if you hold shift while drawing, you'll notice that it can only go in straight 90 or 45-degree angles, which can be useful for drawing simple shapes. But the other and last way to draw tool with the line segment tool is to click, like I just did on the page. And when you click instead of dragging, it gives you the line segment toolbox. And this functionality of clicking with a tool pretty much works for almost all the tools, where if you click, you'll get a pop-up that lets you be more specific. So here, if I wanted a 300 length line at the exact angle of, say, 40 or 32 degrees, there it is, and it'll pop up on the screen at a 32 degrees, 300 length angle. And this can be useful if you want a bunch of lines that are all the same. There's my settings again. I can keep doing that, and you can see the way they're all exactly the same and at the same angle. I can also select these lines in a group with my black arrow here, and I can change a bunch of their color. And you can see as I select these lines here, they have all these properties at the top that you can change. So the first one here is its width in points, effectively. It's called stroke. It's basically how thick the stroke of the pen would be along it. So here, if I increase the stroke, we get a thicker line of that color. And you can also type strokes in here. You can go long past what its options are. You can also change how the line is stroked. So basically, these are the width profiles. It'll make it thicker or thinner from one end to the other. It's kind of hard to see on this skinny one, but on this thick one, it'll probably be easier to see. And then lastly, you can also do fancy stuff here. These are our different sort of brush strokes, and you can make pattern brushes and different things that make it look all sorts. Like these are ones that's like if it's being used with a different specific type of pen or charcoal. And in addition, hiding under here is a whole library of different things, whether you want fancy arrows, decorative brushes, and all sorts of stuff like that. And feel free, spend some time exploring these. If I grab, let's see, I grab the arrow special, it'll open this whole group here, and if I click one of them, that line becomes this arrow. To the computer, it still thinks it's the line, but now you have a fancy arrow. And again, you can go into this library tab and we can find, I don't know, there's some decorative, heart line again. Here's all this. And if we look once more at our outline, this is still all the computer is seeing. And this is how Illustrator gets to its reputation as being a very fast, very easy way to make things fancy. So spend some time exploring the line tools, get comfortable drawing with lines, and explore some of these profiles and different brush sets.